Good morning, my friends. I'd like you to imagine this for a moment. You're sitting under the shade of a large tree, holding a small handful of nuts. They look so simple, so ordinary, yet inside each one lies the potential to either nourish your body or quietly work against your health. At our age, the foods we choose are no longer just about filling the stomach. They're about fueling our strength, our memory, and our independence. There is a saying from ancient wisdom: what you eat today walks and talks tomorrow. After the age of 50, this truth becomes even clearer. Our bodies whisper to us more often, sometimes through aching joints, sometimes through tired legs, sometimes through lapses of memory. The good news is, with the right choices, we can guide these whispers toward vitality instead of struggle. When we pass the age of 50, the body begins to teach us lessons we did not ask for but must still learn. It speaks through subtle changes: a knee that complains when we rise from a chair, a memory that hides a familiar name for a few moments, or an afternoon weariness that was once unknown. These are not punishments, they are signals. They remind us that what we place into our body today shapes the quality of tomorrow. And among the many foods available, nuts stand as both powerful allies and, at times, quiet challengers to our health. A handful of nuts may seem small, almost too simple to carry significance. Yet within these tiny shells lie energies gathered from soil, sun, and rain, energies that can either support the strength of your heart, the clarity of your mind, and the stability of your bones, or, if chosen carelessly, place additional weight upon your health. To see the difference, we must learn not only which nuts to welcome but also how much to invite into our daily lives. It is often said, great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. Just as one raindrop does not create a river, one handful of nuts does not determine health. But when chosen wisely, day after day, these small choices create a flow of nourishment that carries you with strength into the years ahead. Let us begin with the nuts that give more than they take, those that the body recognizes as friends. Walnuts, for example, are shaped almost like the brain, and perhaps it is no coincidence that they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, nutrients that help protect memory and support clear thinking. Scientists have often marveled at how closely nature designs food in harmony with the body. A senior woman once shared with me that every morning she took 6 walnuts with her tea. She said, "It is not the taste alone that makes me return to them, it is the calmness I feel after." Over the years, she noticed her mind staying sharp during conversations with her grandchildren, and her doctor praised her heart health. Her small ritual became a shield against decline. Almonds, light in color yet strong in their effect, are another gift. High in vitamin E, they help protect the skin from aging and the bones from weakness. They also bring with them fiber, which is essential to keeping digestion smooth, something many seniors quietly struggle with but rarely speak of. I recall an elder who carried a small pouch of almonds wherever he went. When asked why, he replied, "Because they remind me that even a small act of preparation can prevent a large problem." Indeed, by choosing almonds instead of processed snacks, he not only nourished his body but also avoided the spikes of sugar that once drained his energy in the afternoons. Pistachios, with their gentle green hue, are sometimes called the smiling nut because their shells appear slightly open, as if they are sharing joy. Beyond their charm, they offer potassium for steady blood pressure and antioxidants for eye health, which becomes especially precious as we age. A woman in her 70s once told me that shelling pistachios became a mindful practice for her. She said, "It slows me down. I eat less, but I enjoy more." And indeed, by taking time with each nut, she avoided overeating while still receiving the gifts they offered. Then there are Brazil nuts, powerful though few are needed. Rich in selenium, a mineral that supports immunity and thyroid health, just 1 or 2 can be enough for the day. But here lies a lesson: more is not always better. I met a man who believed that eating 10 Brazil nuts daily would multiply his strength. Instead, he soon felt unwell. When his doctor explained that selenium, in excess, could harm instead of heal, he smiled sheepishly and said, "Even good things can become heavy if we carry too much." His story reminds us that balance, not abundance, is the path to well-being. These 4 walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and Brazil nuts are like guardians of the heart, mind, and body. They offer strength without burden, clarity without confusion, and energy without restlessness. Yet even as we recognize their gifts, there is another truth we must hold close. Not all nuts are equally kind to us. Some come dressed in coatings of sugar or salt that our bodies can no longer process, as is others, while fine in small amounts, may become a source of hidden trouble if eaten carelessly. And here we arrive at the second key truth: portion control and mindful selection. For many years, people have been told that nuts are healthy, and so they eat without measure, believing they can do no harm. But even the healthiest food, when taken in excess, can weigh us down. A bowl of salted cashews or sugar-coated peanuts can seem harmless, yet over time, they may invite higher blood pressure, stubborn weight gain, and unnecessary strain on the heart. An old parable tells of a man who filled his pockets with stones, believing they were jewels, At first he felt rich, but soon the weight slowed his steps and he could not walk as freely as before. When he discovered they were only stones, he laughed at his folly. Food can be the same. We may carry it into our bodies, thinking it is treasure, but only later do we realize the heaviness it has placed upon us. A friend once confided that he ate a full cup of mixed nuts each night while watching television, thinking it was a healthier choice than chips. Over time, he noticed his trousers tightening, and his doctor gently pointed out the hidden calories he had overlooked. He was surprised. But they were healthy nuts, he protested. The doctor replied, yes, but health is not just about what you eat. It is also about how much. By reducing his portion to a small handful, he was able to enjoy the benefits without the burden. This is the wisdom we must carry. The right nut, in the right amount, at the right time, can be a source of vitality. Too much or the wrong kind turns the gift into a challenge. So, when you choose nuts, do not see them as a casual snack. See them as companions on your journey, each offering a piece of strength, memory, and endurance. And remember, just as in life, not every companion is meant to walk beside you for the entire path. Some are better left behind. There is a quiet truth we must acknowledge. Not every nut on the table is a gift to the body. Some are wrapped in layers of salt, sugar, and oils that deceive the tongue while burdening the heart. Others seem innocent, but, when eaten without care, begin to whisper problems into our bones, our blood, and our energy. That is said, the mouth can be sweet while the stomach suffers silently. This is the challenge many face after 50. Taste may delight us in the moment, yet the body carries the consequences long after the flavor has faded. To walk the path of strength, we must learn which nuts to invite with gratitude and which ones to release with wisdom. Take the case of salted cashews. On their own, cashews contain minerals that support bone health and nerves, but when covered with heavy salt, they begin to work against us. Excess sodium tightens the blood vessels, raising blood pressure and forcing the heart to labor harder with every beat. I once spoke with a man in his late 50s who confessed that salted cashews were his nightly comfort. He said, they keep me company when the house is quiet. Yet after months of this habit, his doctor warned of rising pressure in his veins. When he shifted to lightly roasted unsalted cashews in smaller amounts, his numbers improved, and he smiled. I never realized how something so small could hold so much power over me. Honey-roasted peanuts offer another lesson. Their golden glaze tempts the senses, but behind the sweetness lies sugar that unsettles blood sugar balance and leaves the body craving more. A grandmother once shared with me how she kept a jar of honey peanuts for her grandchildren but often reached for them herself. Over time, she noticed her energy dipping sharply after meals. With gentle changes, replacing the coated peanuts with a few raw almonds, her energy became steadier, and she laughed. Now the children enjoy their treat, and I keep my balance. Flavored almonds coated with chocolate, caramel, or chili powders are another example of how marketing disguises indulgence as health. While almonds in their natural form protect the skin and heart, the coatings often bring extra sugar, oils, and additives that quietly undo their gifts. An old saying reminds us, do not let the robe hide the man. The same applies to these almonds. Beneath their attractive covering, they no longer offer the simple, honest nutrition the body seeks. And then there are mixed nuts from tins that come with added oils and preservatives to keep them crisp on the shelf. They appear convenient, but convenience often asks for payment in health. The body must work harder to process these hidden additions, and in return, energy drops, joints grow heavier, and the heart grows tired. The lesson here is not one of fear, but of awareness. Choosing nuts is like choosing companions for a journey. Some walk beside you with honesty, carrying part of your load. Others smile as friends but secretly place stones in your bag. A parable tells of a traveler who accepted gifts from everyone he met along the road. At first he felt honored, carrying the tokens with pride, but as the journey continued, the weight slowed him until he could hardly move. Finally, an elder told him, it is not disrespectful to set down what you cannot carry. In the same way, it is wisdom, not loss, to put aside nuts that burden your health. So how do we make these choices? First, by returning to simplicity. The closer the nut is to its natural state, the kinder it is to your body. Second, by honoring portion. A small handful, not a bowl, is enough to gift strength without heaviness. And third, by listening to the body's response. If a food leaves you sluggish, thirsty, or craving more, it is likely not a true friend. One woman I knew in her 70s told me how she created a small ritual each morning. She placed 7 almonds, 3 walnuts, and 2 pistachios in a small dish, and she sat by the window as she ate them slowly. She said, I no longer snack mindlessly. These are not just nuts. They are my reminder that my health deserves attention. She found her digestion improved, her mind felt clearer, and her afternoons carried more energy. Her practice showed that with intention, even something as ordinary as nuts can become a path to well-being that is important. To remember that after 50, the body no longer forgives as easily as it once did. The mistakes of youth: overeating, Careless choices, late-night indulgences, now leave deeper marks, but this is not a reason to mourn. It is an invitation to greater care. Just as a wise gardener prunes the tree with love so it may bear fruit longer, we too must prune away foods that no longer serve us. A wise teacher once said, "The body is your oldest companion. Treat it as you would treat your dearest friend." This means feeding it not what is easiest or most tempting, but what keeps it strong enough to walk with you through the years ahead. So as you reach for nuts the next time, pause for a breath. Ask yourself not only, do I enjoy this taste, but also, does this nourish the life I wish to live? That small question can transform your choices. Imagine your body as a temple built through decades of living, laughter, and learning. Each food you choose is like a stone placed into that temple. Some stones strengthen the walls, others create cracks. With every mindful choice, you repair and fortify what time has worn down. And perhaps the greatest gift of all is this: by choosing wisely, you not only support your own health, but you also become an example to those around you, your children, your grandchildren, your friends. They watch, even silently, and they learn that aging is not about decline, but about living with wisdom, dignity, and joy. So as we continue, I invite you to listen not only with your ears but also with your heart. Ask yourself, what choices can I make today so that tomorrow I rise with energy, steadiness, and joy? Because in every handful of nuts, there is more than flavor. There is a choice about the kind of life you wish to live after 50.